Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am starting a new series which is toasting Riptocs and talking spiritual health, because I thought it would only be fair to divide these topics up into separate parts, because I mean, while some of the things I talk about, like spirituality and physical health, do affect mental health and are related to them, they're not always exactly in line with that series. Additionally, I've decided to divide these up into their own categories. So toasting Norks and talking mental health will be only Spyro 1 and only mental health related content, whereas this new series, Toasting Riptocs and Talking Spiritual Health, will only be Spyro 2 gameplay and related to spiritual health. So, yeah, and there is a third that I plan on introducing eventually, which will be Spyro 3, and it is Toasting Rhinox and Talking Physical Health. So when I talk about things that mostly pertain to physical health, I will play Spyro 3. And mostly spiritual health, Spyro 2, mostly mental health, Spyro 1. So, there's that. Getting some organization up in here. So yeah, today we're playing with mods I've used before, because this isn't a modding extravaganza, and I don't want to really showcase too much new material that I'm saving for that series. So, yeah, and today I'm talking about spiritual health. And the specific topic here is religious suffering. So pretty much what I'm going to do today is rehash a little bit with you about my upbringing, the way that I was raised to believe, mostly due to the culture in my area, the way that that affected me, how it made me not want to be spiritual at all for a while, and yeah, the whole 9 yards. So without further ado, let's dive in. So first I'm going to start with guilt, fear, and shame in evangelical Christianity and how that affected me throughout childhood. So I was raised in church, and I was also raised in a Christian private school until middle school. And then from middle school on, I was homeschooled with a Christian homeschooling curriculum. Okay, so I want to preface by saying that my parents are awesome, and they have never been like that toxic evangelical conservative Christianity type of people. They're not like that. They never were like that. So this is not a video talking about how my parents raised me wrong. I just want to make that clear. They are very good examples of what Christians should be, and I very much appreciate what they taught me, and that their intent was always good with religion. It was never toxic or bad. However, I am going to say that being raised in a Christian school and going to church twice a week at least really did affect me in a lot of negative ways. So I very much heard a lot of the guilt, shame rhetoric, and the idea that we are all pretty much have to be like the same. You have to all believe and act in a certain way, or you're not really a Christian, right? So I very much took that to heart. I knew from a very young age, for example, that I was gay, but I knew that if I were to embrace that about myself, that I would be shunned and I would not be accepted as a Christian. And at best, I would get the whole speech of like, hate the sin, love the sinner, and I don't agree with your lifestyle, but I still love you, or whatever. You never just got, you knew you wouldn't get that acceptance of, well, I'm not like you, but I respect that your relationship with God is between you and God. And then people just go on and like don't treat you any differently, or don't act like there's something wrong with you. So because of stuff like that, I really never felt worthy of anything. I always felt like no matter what I did, I could never be enough. because I had something about myself that I couldn't change no matter what. No matter how hard I tried or how hard I prayed, I couldn't change that. So I tried to make up for it through being overly perfect in other ways. So excelling in my schooling and career once I got older, and going out of my way to be a people pleaser and like do everything for others, which very much relates to mental health stuff I've talked about in the past. If you want to see that, I'll include the banner above. But yeah, that's part of the mental health series. But the reason that this is relevant to spiritual health is because due to all of this religious suffering, and getting like really negative associations with religion, I became very bitter for quite some time when it comes to spirituality and religion. I very much wanted nothing to do with it. I felt like the only way I could be spiritual would be if I were to follow progressive Christianity, which is basically like a more liberal twist on a doctrine that's been twisted into being conservative. And I just still didn't relate with that. I just got to the point where Christianity as a whole just made me angry. And because I didn't feel like I was allowed to believe in anything else, I just abandoned spirituality altogether. I was angry about it, bitter about it. I didn't get to the point of like hating God like a lot of people do, but I got to the point where like I completely shut off my body to the idea of higher powers or to the hope in an afterlife at all. Because all I ever heard from evangelical Christianity was that if I chose to believe in anything other than Jesus Christ and the Bible that has been altered and edited to pieces, that, you know, I might as well not believe in anything at all, because that means I'm committing idolatry and worshipping false gods and all of that stuff. So I spent a few years just completely abrept of any type of spirituality. And this was hard for me because the only thing that I can say that was positive about the Christian experience growing up was my hope and belief in God and the strength that I drew from the idea that there is something after this life, whether it be heaven or reincarnation or whatever it is. The hope that I would see loved ones again and that I was bigger than my body and all of this stuff, that all started to diminish. And back then, you know, that was the good thing about the Christianity, was I may have never felt good enough, but at least I had that connection and that belief in something greater, I guess I would say. So I lost that whenever I became bitter against Christianity, and whenever even after I stopped being bitter about it, I still just didn't really believe in the doctrine, even for all that is good about it. And I just felt totally lost, so I just didn't have anything. And yeah, so that's where I'm at now, is kind of at a place, I'm kind of at a place where I'm trying to learn that I can be spiritual. I don't have to believe in a specific religion. I can learn from all religions, because there's a lot of good there, but there's also a lot of toxicity and a lot of, honestly, cultish beliefs that come along with a lot of religions, which is why I prefer to focus on spirituality, which is very much more an inward thing, and it is very much more a relationship between you and whatever entity you believe in. Or if you don't believe in a specific entity and you just believe in higher powers or a higher plane of existence as a whole, you can focus on that, and you don't have this rigid rule system that is pretty much about uniformity, and it's about keeping people in check and kind of being all the same, in my opinion. That's just what a lot of religions do. Not all of them. There's a lot of good in religion, but it has to be paired with spirituality if it's going to work. And some religions and some churches and some belief systems have that down, and that's great. But a lot of them don't. And that is kind of where I'm at, where I'm realizing I can have that, and not only can I have that, but I need it. So that's where I want to get into the last thing that I want to talk about, which is the main point, which is that my body without spirituality is kind of a mess. There's a reason that I have mental health videos and that I'm going to have physical health videos, and that is because I do suffer with my mental health and I suffer with my physical health. And I've noticed that those sufferings are much worse when my spiritual health is neglected. So that's why this series is about spiritual health, not spirituality, not just being spiritual is like a personal choice for me and blah blah blah, like it is, but for me, it's really important that I have some sort of spirituality, or I feel kind of hopeless and pointless. And I understand some people compensate for that by going hardcore into science to the point that they've just come to terms with the fact that once you die, and that's all there is. And I respect that belief, and I think that is perfectly fine, but that doesn't work for me. I tried that. I tried, going that route whenever I was very bitter against religion and spirituality, and it just doesn't cut it for me. I'm sure it works great for some people, but I personally, as like an empath and a very emotional, deep feeler, I need some sort of assurance that, like I said before, I'm greater than all of this, and I'm bigger than all of this, and there's more to life than just living it here, dying, and never existing again. That's just not really something that I believe in. I have a lot of reasons why I don't believe that, more than just hunches and feelings. And I'll talk about that in other videos if you all are interested, about like premonitions and dreams that have come true and what I believe to have been spiritual conversations and experiences with those I love who have passed on via dreams. So you can kind of see a little bit about this in my Akashic Records reading, which I will link right now. But yeah, so for me, spirituality is important, and that's why I want to start this series. This is kind of the intro video of like me giving the background of why I want to do this, a little bit on what I've experienced and why I've come to terms with going this route, and just kind of a little bit about where I'm at in my belief system right now and how I got here. So yeah, so I guess my main point that I'm going to make for this episode is that while Christianity definitely can be a great thing, and if you're a Christian and you're here, I want you to know that like I totally support you. It can be a great thing, but I do want to say that Christianity that's largely based in fear and hell and scaring people and using demons and all of that stuff to deter people from following any other belief other than that of the belief in Jesus Christ, that can be really toxic and it can really screw people up, because at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is, and obviously if you believe solely in your religion, you probably don't believe this, but truthfully, all religions are very similar. They have a lot of similarities and connections. At the end of the day, we have no set proof about which one's right and which one's wrong. We just don't. So to scare people into thinking that their belief system is not only wrong, but so wrong that they will burn in an entirety of hell, a flaming fire pit with demons for the rest of their lives, just because they don't believe like you do, and they don't think your religion is the right one, then there is a problem. And if you are perpetrating that, or if you're at the receiving end of hearing that and you're scared and you're traumatized, I just want you to know that that's not what spirituality or religion is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a healing experience, and it is supposed to make you a better person, but your idea of a better person should be more along the lines of someone who wants to heal, someone who wants to be kind to others, someone who wants to have empathy, someone who wants to understand that not everyone is the same, someone who wants to speak kindly, someone who sees how their trauma has affected them and wants to get better, someone who doesn't want other people to have to suffer because of their own pain, you know, someone who looks at disadvantaged groups and wants to do something to help rather than judge them or blame it on, you know, their belief system or their life choices. You know, religion should make you a better person in that way, not in the way of, oh, well, you must be a cookie cutter Christian, you must be, you know, straight, and you must never curse, and you must never do this, that, and the other, but, you know, drinking's okay. We'll ignore that one because that one's fun. But everything else, you must be just like us. You know, if you're caught up in that kind of rhetoric, I just want to say, like, please give it another look, because that stuff really messed me up. It made me very self-righteous for a while. I was very judgmental of other people. I was judgmental of people who cursed. I was judgmental of people who drank alcohol. Obviously, I curse now, so no room to talk there. I don't drink still, but I don't think I'm superior for that. Yeah, there's just a lot of self-righteousness that goes on with evangelical Christianity, and it really affects people and it really harms people. So yeah, my main point is that, you know, those things about religion really pushed me away, but what I'm realizing is that everything can be abused. Everything can be misused and abused and used in a way that is harmful, that doesn't make it all bad. And that's why I feel like spirituality is a great thing, and it has just been used and abused through religion and harmful forms of religion to hurt people, and I don't want to be bitter about it all my life and ignore it just because people who are misusing it have caused me pain. So yeah, I'm at that point, and I do think spiritual health is really important. Even if you're a straight up atheist but you meditate, that's a form of spiritual health, whether you believe that there's actually anything out there or not. To be able to meditate and take care of your spirit, even if you think that your spirit is just a part of your brain, that's still really important. And I think that we could all really benefit from meditation and self-help and other forms of spirituality. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for this part. I just wanted to kind of give some background to my journey with spirituality, why I believe the way I do, and why I think spiritual health is important regardless of your belief system, and how religion can be used really damaging, and that really pushes people away. So if you're one of those people who's been pushed away because of a toxic belief system that was like maybe forced upon you by your culture or your family or whatever, I want you to consider maybe taking a different look and looking at the fact that spirituality can be a good thing, and it doesn't have to be all of that toxicity that it was made to be by, you know, your community or whatever. I will end that here. I just want to see if anyone has any thoughts. I would love to hear from you. Please be kind. You know, if you are like a Bible thumping evangelical, then just don't comment, because I'm just gonna delete your comment. It's not worth debating to me anymore with anybody. This is just my place to come and talk, and I know that people that I am not even close with like to come here and just judge me and make fun of me and talk about me behind my back, so I'm expecting some of that. But you know, if that's what you're doing, then continue to do that. Continue to talk behind my back, because I don't have time for it and I just don't really care. So I'm just trying to help people. I'm trying to relate to people from my experiences. So I hope that I can do that. And I know that there are a lot of folks here who, even very heterosexual friends of mine who have been Christians all their lives, who are getting to that point where they're just getting fed up with all of the hate, rhetoric, and all that stuff, and I don't want them to be like me where they go years without any form of spiritual health because they're angry and bitter and kind of traumatized by religious beliefs. I want people to be able to transition more smoothly than I did, so that's why I'm here. I will definitely have more episodes on this, and I'm excited to narrow it down instead of having just a big, broad, long episode. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here when I'm swimming around. I think this is so freaking pretty with the rainbow glow skin. Like, look at how gorgeous that reflection is in the water. I'm sure that wasn't intentional, but it looks really freaking good. Like, I love that. So yeah, really love that skin paired with this breath. It's super awesome. But I'm gonna end that here. I appreciate you all watching this. I hope that I made sense. I hope I didn't ramble too much. And I very much look forward to seeing you in the next part.